Alright, this week it's all about wood, from growing it, to stacking it, to burning it.
Over the past few years, The Guardian has published article after article condemning wood stoves. They called them an environmental menace and said their popularity is reversing decades of progress in air quality. And if you read the studies they're referring to, fine particles in wood smoke, namely PM 2.5, are small enough to get deep into your lungs. They've been linked with heart disease, lung problems, and even cognitive decline. There are now some restrictions in urban areas of the UK. In London, for instance, you can be fined for burning the wrong fuel, and some areas in other countries are heading in the same direction. So is that it? Should we give up our stoves, throw out the axe, and return to gas heating? Maybe it's not that simple. Burning wood teaches you something most of us have forgotten, that energy isn't free. Not just in cost, but in effort, in time.
I planted feijoa trees and olive trees all along this bank, and the olive trees are doing great. The feijoas, they're surviving, but they're not doing that well. So I thought I might try and put a bit of compost down on them to see if I can improve them. We've had a lot of rain recently, and so the grass has grown like crazy, so I need to cut that back before I can do anything else.
There's something else that happens when you live with wood fires. You start to notice the trees. You learn their names. You work with the seasons. You plant things. You prune them. You feed them. The ash from the fire becomes a useful compost ingredient that goes back into the soil to feed the trees. And you get way more than just firewood. You get fruit, shade, shelter, beauty. We don't just burn wood, we plant it, in my case in the wind. We tie it upright, we feed it with compost. It's all the same act really, tending to what keeps us alive. Even now, watch a group of people around a fire. They don't look away. There's something deep in us that still remembers. Gas gives you heat, sure, but wood gives you way more.
The area behind me is looking a little untidy. There's a barbecue just kind of sitting on the floor, and then there's a pile of wood. I'm going to neaten that up. So I'm going to build a bench, and that'll be like an outdoor kitchen area, and underneath that I'll be able to stack firewood. I'm going to build the bench top out of this slab that you can see behind me. This is Australian hardwood, very heavy, very tough, but it should be great for the outdoors.
Carl Jung once said, "Every civilized man carries within him the soul of a savage. You see it when the lights go out." We stare into the fire the way we stare into ourselves because it doesn't just keep the room warm, it stirs something ancient. Fire demands your attention, and it gives you something back. Not just warmth, but focus, stillness, a strange kind of clarity. This isn't just nostalgia, it's in our biology. We evolved with fire. Cooking food, warding off predators, marking time. No wonder people find it hard to give up, even if the media says they should. We don't just use fire, we gather around it, we stare into it. It slows us down. But of course that doesn't mean that every use of fire is wise. If every house in a densely populated city lit a stove, obviously there'd be an effect on air quality. And yes, poorly burned wood in an open fireplace, indoors, that is not ideal. One issue with the study The Guardian refers to is that it lumps everything together, from modern wood stoves to open fires. Some people are probably burning wet, unseasoned wood, while others are burning wood that has been stacked and dried, and they don't open the door to reload the fire until that wood has burnt down to embers. And in the study, all of this is just lumped together. I'm back at it with this morning. This has taken a little longer than expected. I'm not trying to get it completely perfectly flat because it's just an outdoor table, but what I am trying to do is remove the blade marks from when it was sawn. And they're deeper than expected, so that's quite a lot of work. The study referenced in The Guardian focuses on wood burning in a densely populated city. What about people who live in a rural area? It's a very different story, yet the headlines don't always make that distinction. The Guardian ran 5 articles in just 17 days, calling wood stoves a menace. That's not reporting nuance, that's pushing a narrative. The danger with this is when pressure builds, legislation could start to treat every stove as a problem. I picked this beautiful piece of wood up at a firewood yard. Most of the logs were headed for the stove, but this one was different. When they find wood too beautiful to burn, it gets slabbed up and stored. So instead of fire, it gets to hold a barbecue, and the firewood can be tucked away under it. So what do we make of the Guardian article and our response to it? I don't think the answer is to ban stoves outright. I think the answer is to get better at using them. Fire has always been a danger, but then that's never been the point. We don't need the state to eliminate every risk. We need the wisdom to manage them ourselves. As always, I am not a teacher and this isn't a lecture. If you've got an opinion, I'd love to hear it. Put it in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week.